Good afternoon, dear audience. Today's lecture is very important, and that is how to write correct English. It is meant to be how to start a sentence and where to use capital letter. As this exercise makes the words lines meaningful, and in this regard, we use some certain marks while communicating with others. Take pause, raise any question, show any amazement, make something specific, and so on. All these require some specific symbols, marks, and they all are called punctuation marks. Our caption is punctuation marks. It is meant to be Ramose Okaf. There are some certain symbols that are used in writing. All these are used to follow some rules and regulation to make the sentence meaningful and worth understanding. There are about 11 punctuation marks in English. Dear audience, dear spectator, now on your slide the caption is punctuation marks. First of all, the use of capital letters A, B, C, D have been written in bold letters. Number 2, the use of full stop. It is also called your period. Number 3, the question mark. Number 4, the exclamation mark. 5, the comma. 6, the apostrophe. 7, the quotation mark. Number 8, the dash. Number 9, the hyphen. Number 10, the colon. And number 11, the semicolon. All these have also their symbols on your slide. Note, but in this lecture we will discuss just surely the use of capitalization where we need to use capital letter. It might be in the beginning of a sentence, it might be within a sentence. All these we will discuss in this lecture in detail. Dear audience, dear spectator, now we talk about some certain rules that need the letter. The first one are in the middle to be written in capital. There are 10 certain rules for the use of capital letters. The first one, start of every sentence phrase needs a capital letter. The example is over there. They were reciting the Holy Quran. The pronoun they has been started, the T as a capital. Then the second one is proper noun and proper adjective. Need a capital letter for its start. Qaid Azam. First of all, Q has been written in capital, and then there comes the term, the Indus. Indus, the first letter I has been written as capital 1. The third one, every title needs to be started with the capital letter. Number 4, capitalize the event and the periods. And all these will be discussed with example in detail in your next slides. Dear audience, dear spectator, now there comes the term number 5, capitalized I, even when it comes within a sentence. As you all know that there are 26 letters in English from A to Z, and out of these 26 letters there are 2 words as well, and the 2 words are I and O. And number 6, when they are in location and direction. And number 7, family relationships. Number 8, months, holidays and days. Number 9, trademarks, names. And number 10, the use of colon and semicolon. All these will be discussed in detail with examples. Dear audience, dear spectator, now again we start of a sentence. When we start any sentence, then the first letter of the word is written in capital 1. As in that sentence we recite the Holy Quran every day, the letter W of the word we as a pronoun has been written in capital. Number 2, when there come pronoun and names, then again we write the first letter of that particular pronoun or the name in capital 1, like Qaid Azam was the founder of Pakistan. The word Qaid, and there comes the first letter Q is written in capital 1. And then there comes Zainab is industrious student. The letter of the word Zainab is written in capital 1. And then there comes the term they all were going to the mosque for offering prayer. T of the word pronoun they is written in capital 1. And when there come any title over there, then we use the first letter of that word, particular word in capital 1. as title is Lord of the Flies, and it is another name for the devil. Dear audience, dear spectators, now there comes the fourth rule for writing a capital letter, and the example of that event is First World War. As you are watching on your screen, that the word first and the letter F is capital, and then there comes the word world, W is capital over there, and then there comes the word war, and W of that word is capital. There is some sort of information regarding the First World War. It was started on 28th of July 1914 and it was ended on 11th of November 1918. Germany, Austria, Hungary, Bulgaria and Ottoman Empire were on the one side and they were called Central Powers, and their opponents' forces were Great Britain, France, Russia, Italy, Romania, Canada, Japan and the United States of America, and they were called Allied Powers. What was the result of the First World War? That Allies forces won the war. And there comes the second example of that particular slide, Ice Age. What is meant by Ice Age? If you look at the word Ice Age, then the first letter of the word ice is I capital, and then there comes the word age, and age, the first letter A is capital over there, and it is meant to be a long interval of time, millions to tens of millions of years, when global temperature are relatively cold and large areas of the earth are covered by continental ice sheets and alpine glaciers. Era of the Ice Age, it began 2.4 million years ago and lasted until 11,500 years ago. Dear audience, dear spectator, in the previous slide I talked about the letters in English A to Z. There are 26 letters, and out of those 26 letters there are two letters. They are words as well, and they are I and O. Whenever the letter come within a sentence, then it is written in capital 1. Example is, when my friends met me, I was just going to the college, and in this sentence the letter here, it is working as a word, so it has been written in capital 1. Using of capital letter in location, direction, it is the next rule for writing a capital 1. Example, the north. There is talk about direction. North is a direction, so the first letter of the word north, N, is written capital 1. And once again there come the location, North Africa. The word north, the first letter of north, N, is capital, and then there comes the second word Africa. The first letter of that word A is capital. Family relationship, now there comes another rule. Capitalized titles like mom and dad, when using them to address someone or as a name. Examples are, I was just going to clean a room. Here I am addressing to my mom, so here I have written M as a capital 1. And then again there comes the word dad. Thanks dad, I will check my call you back. Here again he is directly addressed. Whenever mom or dad add a person, any relation is directly addressed, then we write the first letter of that relationship in capital letters. Dear audience, dear spectator, there are some more examples for family relationship or relatives. You know that mom and dad are used as a common noun instead of as titles. So nutshell, I would explain that whenever these relationships or relatives are not directly addressed, then it needs not to write the first letter of that particular word as a capital 1. Mom, dad, grandpa, uncles, aunts, grandparents, when they aren't addressed directly, it needs not to write the first letter of that particular word as a capital 1. And when they are directly addressed, then the first letter of each relationship must be written as capital 1, as mom, father, uncles, aunts, grandparents, as has been written in this slide on your screen. Dear audience, dear spectator, now there comes the next rule of making the first letter of the word capital. And the rule over there is when there come months, days or holidays, all these are always capitalized as these are proper nouns. Seasons are not usually capitalized unless they are personified. Examples are there: Pakistan Resolution Day. In this word Pakistan, P is capital, in resolution R is capital, and the word day, D is capital. Christmas, C is capital over there. New Year's Day, every letter of each word New Year Day is the capital. And then there comes the month, then 2nd of June, the letter of the word June has been written in capital 1. Dear audience, dear spectator, now there comes the next rule, and it is used for trademark. A trademark or brand is a legal property of an owner, so no one other can use any trademark that has already been designed for a certain company or a group. And examples are over there. TM, it is a trademark. T has been written as a capital 1 and M is also written as a capital 1. So in Coca-Cola, Coca C is capital and Cola C is also capital over there. IBM, then I capital, B capital, M capital. It is meant to be that the trademark, every letter of each word is written in capital 1. Dear audience, dear spectator, now I talk about semicolon. What is a semicolon? The semicolon is not a terminal mark of punctuation. Here I would like to define what is meant by terminal marks. Terminal mark are the marks that are used as the end of sentences, and there are 3 types of terminal punctuation, and they are, first of all, the period. It is also called your full stop, and then there comes the question mark, and then there comes the exclamation mark. These 3 are called your terminal marks. Therefore, it should not be followed by a capital letter unless the first word in the second clause requires a capital 1. Use of semicolon. It is used to connect two independent clauses, full sentences that relate in meaning. And the example is on your screen is: the students have paid all the dues. They expect to have their roll number slips from the college. It is meant to be that the second part is over there, that is interconnected. So it is meant to be the use of semicolon. Dear audience, dear spectator, and now it is the last slide of today's lecture, and that is about colon. Use of colon. A colon can be used to connect two independent sentences. We use colon when the second sentence clarifies, explains the sense theme of the first sentence. An example is over there on the screen. We both were very excited. We are going to visit an historical place. It is to be understood that the first part of the sentence just is showing a sense of excitement, a sense of rejoice, but why they are happy, it is better shown in the second part of the sentence, and that is we are going to visit an historical place. So dear students, dear audience, it's all over for today's lecture, and for the next time with some more informative lecture for your better understanding, Learn with Gemini will be there with you. And it's take care from Ali Khan Wajid. Have a nice day, boys, guys, audience.